So this is the second part of spreadsheet. Okay, so we are going to continue with more formula and more of the functions. So here is a video that goes through the example on text manipulation, which is the substitute. So I'm going to show you a simple example of using substitute, left, and also mid. So on the top table, so that would be the output of it, where example of the text would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? Just some random text. So I'm going to show you what happens when we use substitute, what happens when we use left, and also what happens when we use mid, right? So when we use substitute function, it will ask us to enter, the first one would be the text, second one would be the old text, and then what you want to replace it with. For example, I wrote equals substitute and then B1 because I don't want to write the text myself, so I just refer back to column B, row 1, which is the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And then I want to replace the old text, which is the letter B, and I want it to be replaced by the letter Z, right? So when I click enter on it, you can see that it will give out substitute, and then the text now becomes A, Z, C, D, E, F, G, H. So you can try with left, where when you write left, and then it asks the first one would be the text, so I still use the same text, B1, and then it asks for the numbers of characters. So say that if I wrote 3 and I click enter, it will just read as ABC because I only want to read 3 characters. If I want to use mid, for example, here it says mid, you would enter whatever the text is, the start number, and also the number of characters that you want. So the example that I wrote mid B1, I want it to start from number 2, and then I want to have 5 characters. So based on the text A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, when I say start number 2, that would be starting from the letter B, number of characters 5, so it will count 5 from B. So when I click enter, it will display B, C, D, E, F, right? 5 characters starting from the second one, which is B. So you can try this one out to see what would be the output of it. You can watch this video to see examples on how to use the array function and formula. In this slide, I'm showing you a simple example of using the array. So here we have this table at column A and column B where I input some random numbers, right? And at column C, I'm using array to do the addition, right? So at first, I would select all of the rows in column A, and then I would write plus with all of the rows in column B, and then I would click on Ctrl, Shift, and Enter, and then it will give this result, which is an array. So if you look at the formula bar over here, the curly bracket or the braces, that means that all these values are inside an array. So this is showing the transpose example. So transpose meaning that you want to change your table from maybe vertically to horizontally or the other way around. Example here, I have this table ABC, just some random numbers, and then I want to change that this ABC to be right at the top. So what I would do is I would select the columns and rows For example, here I would select at A12 up until C15, and then I would click on my formula. I would write equal transpose, and then I would select the table, the first table that I want the values to be changed into. Right, for example, here it's being written as equal transpose A7 up until D9. And then when I click on enter, then I would have this table in yellow. So I don't have to type the same table twice. There are so many functions in Excel that you can try out. So another one is this indirect function. So over here, there's a video where you can watch on how to use the indirect. Sorting and querying. So sorting is any process of arranging items systematically and has two common yet distinct meanings. So we can have ordering, which is arranging items in a sequence ordered by sum. And then we have criterion, which is categorizing, grouping items with similar properties. The most common uses of sorted sequences are making lookup or search more efficiently, making merging of sequences efficient, and also enable processing of data in a defined order. How to sort in Excel? So you can select the data to sort by selecting a range of tabular data, such as A1 to L5, meaning that you are selecting columns A up until columns L from row 1 up until row 5. Or you can also do a single column, for example, C1 and then C80, meaning that column C from row 1 up until column C row 80. So the range can include the first row of headings that identify each column. Sort quickly and easily. So you can select a single cell in the column you want to sort, and then on the Data tab in the Sort and Filter group, click on that icon to perform an ascending sort, which is from A to Z, or from smallest number to the largest. And then you can perform a descending sort as well, which is from Z to A, or from the largest number to the smallest number. Sort by specifying criteria. You can use this technique to choose the column you want to sort together with other criteria such as font or cell colors. So you can select a single cell anywhere in the range that you want to sort. On the Data tab in the Sort and Filter group, click Sort to display the Sort pop-up window, and then in the Sort by drop-down list, select the first column on which you want to sort. In the Sort on list, choose values, cell color, font color, or cell icon. In the order list, choose the order that you want to apply to the sort operation. So it can be alphabetically or numerically, ascending or descending. So it depends on what you actually want to do. So here I'm just showing some examples of sorting and querying. So from the figure, there are 18 people with 17 people suffered from abrasion. So the first user will need to specify the data to be sorted, and then to sort the whole data, you can use Ctrl A to select all the data. Otherwise, highlight the section to be sorted, and then you can click on the Sort and Filter icon, and then you can select on Custom Sort. You would see a dialog box, and then you can select injuries from the pull-down list, and then make sure that My Data has headers is selected, and then click on OK. And then you can look at the output of it. So you can see how many people aged 60 and over suffered accidents, how many accidents were there in September, and also how many accidents involve a car. So this is based on the data that we have previously. So to know more about sort, you can watch this video where it goes step by step on how to do it. So the next part is on pivot table. So pivot table is an interactive worksheet that allows you to summarize large amounts of information. The graphical representation of the pivot table is called a pivot chart. So data suitable for pivot table analysis, when you have columns are considered as fields, column headings are field names, and the rows are the records. So in this video, it goes through an example of data, and then from that data, how to create the pivot table. So referring to the example that we saw before on the grade of Ali, right? So we can select the table and then click on Insert and then click on Pivot Table. So you will have this pop-up that says Create Pivot Table. When you click on OK, it will ask you what are the fields that you want to be included. For example, over here, I have selected Name, Quiz 1, Quiz 2, and Quiz 3. Right? So those are the data that I want to use. And then if I want to represent it graphically, I can go back to my insert and then find this pivot chart and click on it. Then it will create the chart for me. So creating dynamic dashboard. So dashboard also demonstrates the standard approach that used in all of the models, which is to incorporate 3 key sheets in addition to the data and analysis tabs. So it integrates information from multiple sources and then present it in a unified, understandable format as charts and graphs. So it offers up to the minute snapshots of information, and it assists decision makers in identifying trends and potential problems because we are representing data from numbers to something that is graphic. So here is this showing that we can have our home page, some inputs, and some help sheet on our dynamic dashboard. So in this video over here, it goes through several worksheets, combine them, and then display it as a dashboard. Going back to our example, say that from our pivot table, I have clicked on pivot chart. So I would have this graph on the right. So now I want to change this pivot table pivot chart into a dashboard. I would go to the pivot chart analyze and then insert slices. It will give me this menu where I can select any fields that I want. For example, if I click on name, then I would have a menu that shows me just the name. For example, the screenshot on your right side top, so we have the name Abu, Ahmad, Ali, Lee, and Raju. So if I click on Ahmad, the chart will only show the information for Ahmad. So I can change the look of it to look something nicer like the one in green, where if I click on Abu, it will display Abu's marks. If I click on Ahmad, Ahmad marks, Ali, Ali's mark, and so on. So this is my dashboard, which is a simple one because it just shows the name and straight away the marks in charts. Spreadsheet to support decision making. So an information system that supports business or organization decision making activities. For example, online management training, sells online management training books, and streaming online videos to corporation and individuals. So the screenshot over here, it shows the dashboard for HR management, where you can see that it has a lot more information than the example that I showed you earlier. Example here shows the records of online transactions that can be analyzed using Excel to help business decision. For example, here it says where do most customers come from, where are the average purchases higher, what time of day do people buy, and so on. So this can be analyzed through the data that has been collected before. But through data, it is hard to know and to see the trends. So those data are being changed into charts, and then those charts are being added into the dashboard so that you can sort by region, for example, by time, and so on, and then the charts over here will change accordingly. So if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, you can click on this link, and then it will show you the top 25 tips and tricks of Excel. This video covers the top 15 tips and tricks for advanced level if you want to learn more about Excel. That's it about Excel. So I will post some questions on your online learning. Try and answer those and submit it by today. That's all. Thank you.